Hello folks and welcome back to Loot.bet Season 1. This is it, the second to last best of 3 of online league play. I'm here joined by Skriv. This is AVANGAR versus Team Uruguay, and this is ultimately map number 1. We're here on Sunny Dust 2.
I think it should be a pretty good one, to be fair. As you can kind of see, we've got interesting sort of changes. Maybe if people have been keeping up a little bit on HLTV and everything, this Uruguay side changing kind of rosters weekly, it seems, but now they've got a bit of an idea as to who they want to stick with permanently. And I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how it goes. Existence always a fan, but you know it's still early days, and they're up against AVANGAR, kind of this immovable object up at the top end of that scoreboard. I mean, against Winstrike, not the best of games from them. You know, it was very, very close in fairness. But I think coming into this one today, they're going to have a little bit of a cleaner, more cutthroat style, and I think they should be able to edge this one out. But we'll see. There's still those individuals on Uruguay, especially on a map like Dust 2, that can just take control so easily.
I'm hoping one of the big things, and something we didn't really talk about yesterday that we perhaps should have, is that AVANGAR have had a bit more time to rest, and they've also not got 3 best of 3s to play in a day after going through, obviously, the stress of playing, you know, at that major level. So I'm hoping that they've had a bit of time to relax this morning, you know, a nice little breakfast and such, keep it chill. Knowing as well they've only got 1 best of 3 to play today, that's, you know, another thing as well, and then they can just sit back, relax, watch the major. Yeah, hopefully that'll help them as well. Just keep it, you know, full focus, fast win, 2-0, get it done. That's kind of the mindset I feel like AVANGAR should be going to this one, because it should ultimately, in my eyes, be, you know, a 16-7, 2 maps over and done with, you know, not really much headroom for Team Uruguay. Don't get me wrong, like you said, solid individuals, but just as a team, AVANGAR should be able to outclass them every day of the week.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in the same boat with that one. It's going to need, like, Scream or Draken to just take control, really. I don't think at this point the team play is really going to be there with how young this particular iteration of the roster is at the moment, especially with someone like Existence coming in. You know, there's going to be a lot of changes going on. But not a great deal of action here so far early on in the pistol, just kind of sending the feelers out there, playing a little bit slowly. We've got 2 in at middle, trying to hold things down on the CT side. Existence will find 1, but Draken immediately going to be dealt with. Existence has to back away and give them mid control. So the Ts now have quite a bit to play with. There's a USP available as well to kind of eliminate a lot of the long range angles. They're not going to opt to go for it, though. They're going to back off towards short. And it is a 1-for-1 trade, but this is kind of what, you know, we normally base things on. It's better for the T side because, as you can see, they're controlling the pacing and splitting the defense of that CT side. Hampus had to go huge there, really, and unfortunately does not from Carr. So the bomb plant going to be coming in. It's a 4 versus 3 with Grux just having to let it happen. Jamie will be taken down in the back end. So again, keeping things even. There is a kit available in the hands of Existence. A great little decoy coming in there to bait out the turnaround from Crizzen. Doesn't actually manage to find the kill, but a 3 versus 3. It is kind of looking very doable for both sides, honestly, especially as these heads are going down on both sides of things. Scream going to get a little bit gooshed out as well. And now the gap starts to close. It's all on the Glock of Crizzen in the 1 versus 2. He manages to find 1. The hold coming in from Scream in the 3 versus. He's trying to find the kill. He does eventually. That had 0.3, I think, there. Pretty damn close, but the pistol will go the way of AVANGAR.
It's so ballsy to hold out there and force the jump peak, especially when he misses it twice in a row. But yeah, 0.3, you were spot on. Ah, he's so damn close.
I mean, that's how we like it. We like the close shaves. Makes for exciting viewing.
Five sevens now, just going to tap away, see what they can make stick. SMGs, meanwhile, will probe themselves out towards long, just checking out little bits of the map here, starting to take some early control. I like this from AVANGAR, it's just a bit of spread play. Uruguay, though, they've got a bit of information. They've cleared out upper and lower tunnels. So that also could play into their hand. It depends on if Existence will extend further around towards long and potentially give himself up as a one-man kill with no trade potential. If they can sort of bolster up together now, play off of these scouts, use the 5-7s to finish them off, then there's actually some potential for some damage here from this CT side.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting choice to go for the Force, but then for me, Dust 2 maybe one of the better maps to do it on, especially if you can get a few scouts in play. And this is definitely the Uruguay style of play as well. Nice double peek coming in, though. Towards long will eliminate scout number 1. Aggressive push from Existence. He's immediately traded, but like you say, it's just kind of good to get the damage done ultimately. A lot of the 5-7s in play here, which is certainly interesting to see. No CZs really for the CT side, but I think looking at the way that this has gone, probably better to just save what they have into the next round, as they are going to have to eco and just look to do a bit of damage perhaps in round number 3 as well. But yeah, not quite working out the way that they wanted, unfortunately. I think ultimately it was a bit more of a stack towards the B side of things, so they just kind of gambled on the wrong bomb site.
Pretty much spot on. I have to see now, really, I think what Uruguay are made of on their major buy, that's sort of, I think, the next step here. Not going to expect too much from them as we move further in out into round number 3. At least they've got the scout, I suppose. They can do a little bit more chip damage. Try and see if they can tack up a couple of members, use the 5-7s once again to finish them off. But I think this is going to be much more about establishing maybe a gun or two they can save around 4 if they need to, or just doing damage ultimately to AVANGAR's economy, more so than it will be about a round win. I think the potential to actually take this as a victory is... It should be pretty firmly off the table, to be completely honest. I like that, though. Get aggressive with the pistols, lower tunnels. See if you can force the issue, catch a couple by surprise. Great way to catch an early kill, traditionally. But AVANGAR are being smart, right? They are fully aware that they can be up against this basically blob style of Counter-Strike. So they're not facing into it. They've just gone 5-man towards long. There are a couple of players spread out, albeit, you know, some are pushing up more towards the site, some are still out in long doors, and hey, you've even got a member actually still effectively in T-spawn. The reason they're spread is just to make sure that no one can come pushing through a smoke and sneak in for a kill or two, no one can wrap around from behind. But even so, it still is that basically 5-man long stack that's going to pay off for them. Smoke going to go down on towards short just to really cover their backs as well. Uruguay now just have to consider just how aggressive they want to be to try and find a couple of kills here.
Yeah, it is a relatively well played round once again from AVANGAR, although a bit aggressive towards short. Maybe, you know, trying a bit too hard to eliminate some of these saved pistols. I suppose I get it for the kill reward, and there is that, you know, if they've got armor type thing. But they only lose 1. And I believe he was a Mach 10 player, so it's not the end of the world. They will be happy to eliminate everybody on the Uruguay side there, and now we'll see this first buy coming on through. I do believe... Okay, a little bit of an interesting one. I'm pretty sure Grux had money to drop an AWP across, you know, and swap with Draken. They could have made sure they both had a bit more utility. But whatever. You know... If it works, we'll see. Yeah, a bit of long aggression coming in from both sides. It just kind of confuses me a little bit. The long aggression works out for the CTs, so the T's not really fighting it too much, as James taken quite a bit of early damage. Quite an important bit of damage as well. That AWP, of course, like we say all the time, really important on both sides of Dust 2. And with him being a bit worse for wear, he's going to be lacking in the confidence, you know, and maybe lacking in the aggressive plays. But then he doesn't necessarily do that, does Jamie. But we'll see here. The B hit coming on through. Great flash from Scream, and another one over the top as well to allow a kill to come in for Existence. But they are both traded very, very quickly indeed. So it's back into this 3 versus 3. The question now kind of remains, will the T's be able to get into decent post plants? Will they be able to catch their opponents off guard in this after plant scenario? I think the fact that some of them are on low HP is not really ideal. He waiting for the flash to come over the top. It will indeed, but he kind of doesn't really do anything with it.
The problem they've got is AVANGAR are so much utility here. They've just been flashing them, delaying this push time and time again. Finally, Uruguay going, oh boys, screw it, we've got to go. The bomb's ticking. Like, they're just going to have to force the issue here. But look at Hampus. I mean, he's taking ticks from a molly, but he's not even broke through window yet. They've not smashed through door. I mean, AVANGAR, they just basically barricaded up the B site there, and perfectly done as well. Double smoke onto his door. Flashes galore going up as well. If you're looking on the bottom left of your screen, you've actually seen the flashes being thrown over on just basically the small stones above the window crack. You would see that every single player was flashed by those one flashbang, or each individual flashbang. So they were perfect as well. It kind of just locks them out of the site completely.
Bit of an early pause here. Again, this is something that I think maybe Uruguay needed after watching them in quite a few different tournaments, to be fair, recently, and quite a few different lineups. Discipline is certainly something that they lack in, and that is something that Existence will look to bring to the table pretty much every single round. It's just kind of what he does. And an early pause is definitely something that he would like to pull into the repertoire before things get out of hand. As we normally say, this 04, 05 kind of mark is where you do want to be finding a round as that team with no rounds, you know, because otherwise things start to look very, very scary. You lose that kind of second, third rifle round, and suddenly it's like 7-0, and then there's not really all that much that you can do to get back into it. Your confidence is lacking, and you're just seemingly missing something, and the other team, yeah, even if you do get 1 or 2 rounds, it's not really going to be enough at that point. So, sooner rather than later, Uruguay need to figure out how to get a round on the board, and that is certainly what they are planning to do here.
Looks like we are going to see the first duel take place lower tunnels. Uruguay have been pushing that practically every round so far, and unfortunately this time they will be punished for it. Oof, those odds developing pretty nastily in favour of AVANGAR right now. 5.6 to 1.12. We'd definitely say to folks at home, though, that this isn't done just yet. We've only seen 4 rounds of Counter-Strike played. We're on our 5th right now, with only 1 full buy round, so a lot can change. Uruguay still many opportunities then to test the waters, try and adapt, find something that sticks, but this time around doesn't seem to quite be the one for them. Going to lose another duel towards short, and that will put them now to 5v3. Scream down to 14 HP. He's going to be pushed off the site by the molly and CT as well. That pushes him right deep through in towards mid doors, and kind of leaves him really just out of sync with the rest of the team now, who are all rotating back through B and such. As the bomb is planted on A, it's a committed save really from Team Uruguay, as they will try and carry whatever they can through into round number 6. Good kill from Existence means at least there's going to be another gun for them to work with here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad result, to be fair, with a round like that. You kind of don't expect a great deal. So the fact that they're able to, you know, pick up another weapon, do a tiny, tiny bit of damage, but not a great deal, is not terrible. It's now going into this next round where, you know, they need to make sure that whatever they talked about in that timeout is now put into practice and is successful, because this is the danger zone. Like I said last round, AVANGAR are in prime position to just run away with this T side. So we'll see. I mean, coming into it, it's not a bad buy at all. There's a little bit of spare money for Existence and Draken thanks to the saved weaponry, but not a massive amount. But this is as good a round as any. Existence, though, going to get tagged down early. James being going for the old early peaks, and there you go. He takes down Existence as well as he peeks in towards middle. That's not the start that Uruguay were looking for. Their in-game leader going to fall. That makes things a little bit more difficult, as well as the fact that obviously they've lost the man advantage. And as you can see, Draken looking to get aggressive to compensate. He might just get lucky, but not quite. Gets the leg onto Kuka, and now he will back away and thank his lucky stars that he's still alive for sure. This B-bomb site, though, looks to be the site of choice. There's only one player here to hold it down, what with the fall of Existence. Scream on that A1S, not the best weapon at this point to be solo holding with, and he just gets himself caught. Trying to hide away from 5 players is not necessarily the easiest thing, and it will be a 6th round for AVANGAR by the looks of things.
Hey, if they can't see me, or if I can't see them, they can't see me, right? That's the way it goes. Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It seems like it's a pretty rough go of it right now for Team Uruguay. 6 rounds on the board, not a single favouring the CT side. Just yet. It is Dust 2. I don't think there's a huge amount of sway here on either side of the map, but we're definitely hoping that we see something come in sooner rather than later for our CTs. Obviously, folks, this is the warm-up for the Major. Just over 3 hours to go until the Major kicks off. Spodek Arena going to be, I imagine, beginning to fill up pretty soon. AVANGAR hot off their competition there, unfortunately, not quite making it through. But some good results for them. They did bring, some pretty good matches to the table, and definitely surprising. Again, I was talking about this yesterday, but it was the FaZe result, that 16-13 in Mirage was pretty spicy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are looking good, though. They're one of the better teams in the CIS region, at least offline, for me at the moment. Obviously, you got Na'Vi, but I think there's maybe some names in Na'Vi that, need work or need possibly replacing. And AVANGAR would be a good team to look to. It's just kind of the difficulty, I suppose, is their star player is an AWPer, and obviously Simple is probably a bit better than Jamie, I think. So it's a bit of an awkward one, but maybe to a team, a bit of a bigger organization like Hellraisers, who kind of, I guess, are a little bit better, but it's debatable. I think they could give each other a run for their money if they played off against each other. But it is a slightly bigger organization as far as I'm aware. But they're a name to watch, The players on some of the players on this team, certainly keep an eye on them. And in the next few years they might be some of the bigger names in Counter-Strike. You never know.
We can certainly hope so. Could that be an opener? Close. Not quite close enough, unfortunately. I was hoping we'd see an early pick there for Uruguay. We do see something towards upper tunnels, though. Existence going for the ballsy play, walking up, contact with the AWP, takes the shot, lands it. That is going to be an initial pick for them to work with now.
So, it is a pretty good early advantage, one that they've not really had for a while. I think they got one in the pistol, if I remember correctly. But we'll see now. This is maybe the change up that they needed. That double up setup. The fact that Existence is still alive here over towards B is really good for them at the moment. It allows Scream to get a bit aggressive. He will only find one, but it's at least buying time. So blind, though. Existence is an easy pickup. It's Hampus, though, on the AUG. Triple kill to finish the round. As it did look a little bit dicey there, but that AUG, absolutely deadly. And Hampus, for me, has been one of the kind of standout names on this Uruguay side, to be honest. You've got players dipping in and out like Draken and like Scream, HS as well, at one point. Great names, but Hampus has looked really, really good, in my opinion. That's a bit of an awkward start, though, to round number 8, and definitely not the start you want when you're trying to avoid the reset. Kind of knocking into each other in middle, and then Scream ends up going down because of it.
Yeah, I mean, the main concern here, right, is the El Clasico of Counter-Strike in a matchup like this, the reset. It could be pretty painful for them, in all honesty. There's a little bit of money in the bank, so the force-up wouldn't be abysmal, I don't believe, in round 9, but it's not going to be a pretty sight. And, I mean, the odds continue to develop out of favour as well for Uruguay. We're now up to 8.5. So it's continuing to rise.
Never good, to be fair.
Actually a crazy amount of money, though, when you think about it, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's not looking too good. At this point, we've lost another 2 players over on the B bomb site. Maybe those numbers will be getting higher and higher and higher and higher. To be honest, Hampus and Grooks, I think, just going to have to look to save.
I wonder what the
the reset comes in.
Ever odd like in history has been. Like 30.
I've seen some that have been like 13 when you have like an unknown team playing off against a decent-ish team, and then the decent team gets to like a 5-6 round lead early on.
It's basically shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you can see the money on Uruguay, it's not great. I mean, you've got basically the bank of Grux and Draken who are going to have to open up now to facilitate the force up here. If a bit of napkin math does me correct, they can pretty much get all the weapons out, but it's going to leave them kind of high and dry moving forward. And also, utility looks, yeah, to be pretty poor. They've basically be carried by Scream and Draken. They do have the additional Molotov on existence, so it's not all bad, but they are going to be ground out of those smokes pretty quickly. Only, what, 2 now left in play? And we're barely 15 seconds into the round. Thankfully, it's Dust 2. They're not as important as I think they are on other maps. At least for that CT side. Existence just going to drop the molly in towards mid-door. Wants to make sure that AVANGAR don't come knocking anytime soon. And well, now he's just going to be ready there to hold the corner. I think he's going to flash himself for the peak. Sees nothing though, goes to the wallbang and will just back away almost instantaneously. As meanwhile on the AVANGAR side of things, they are creeping up through short, as we can see here. Just sort of going to throw the molly now to clear it out, take the peak. Being very careful. The rotations have come through. Existence going to play just a little more careful here. Oh my god, continue to prod around on this A site. And what's that? Oh, it's the AVANGAR bread and butter execute. Of course it is. Mollies, the smokes to come raining over as well. Let's see how Uruguay can do here against his AVANGAR A site take.
Oof. Looking relatively good, actually. Nice couple kills coming through. Oh, what is that from Jamie, though? My goodness, a great flick coming through to bring it into a 2 versus 2. Existence in on the back end, but he's got that AWP, and it's an easy find for Buster on the wide peak. Now going to be down to Grooks, and his AUG is maybe not the cleanest. He has dropped the bomb, however. Not quite sure on that decision-making from Jamie. Buster now unsure of where Grooks is, who will
let him get backside.
Peek up and start to move in. Yeah, it's kind of defeating the purpose of having the bomb in your control, and then he gets caught off by, once again, another wide spray coming in from Buster. Grooks maybe a bit too passive there.
I think so, yeah. I think that...
I don't know, maybe he was trying to play sound cues or something? I really don't know.
He wouldn't be able to hear when the bomb's picked up from pit, deep in pit like that.
Yeah,
so
no.
If the bomb dropped, he's got the AUG, like the scope. Like, just don't obviously like face it wide and let yourself be swung into, but at the same time, be aiming down it. Poor Scream. But like, be aiming there ready to take that jewel. Don't like dip into pit, allow him to get behind boxes and plant the bomb, because then it gives the sort of. You think of it like poker, right? It basically gives the dealer the room to do everything. He gets to make all the decisions on when to aggress you, and then just swings out wide from the site, and he initiates the duel, not you. It just makes it a much easier round for him to win, in all honesty, because he can get to site and plant, which he should never be able to. But it's a shame.
Yeah, a little bit of a
8-1. It's not too pretty, is it? I mean,
yeah, strategical missteps here and there. That is a lot of kills for Existence on his stat track P2000. That's an awful lot of kills, especially for a pistol, because it's sort of only 1 round per game that you're primarily going to be using it in. I mean, you might get the odd kill here and there in like an eco or to finish someone off or whatever.
His AK tapping is just so annoying.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
That is the most frustrating sound I've ever heard. Like, it's very like monotonous.
Yeah.
My head is so not ready for that.
Oh,
now he's got the Zeus.
We got more Zeuses. The thing is, as well, like, I'm pretty sure I commented on this before, but with this UI, like, it doesn't show when a player buys a Zeus.
Oh yeah, it's impossible
So
to see.
it's even more of a surprise when, like, someone gets a Zeus kill.
I just love it when suddenly the observer switches to someone who's just holding an angle with the Zeus close range. Like, we've seen that probably like 8 times the past week. Like, people just, like, literally like that. Like, just point blank, sat in the corner with a Zeus, waiting for someone to come walking by. Oh, it's a full buy and it's an A stack.
I like this. I like this. This is something when you're so far behind, you kind of have to go for a bit of a play like this. I think what they were going for is like, you know, banking on long aggression. It doesn't really come in.
Support there though. He's kind of.
Yeah, it seems very broken, doesn't it? Draken's like, oh, I am here, but I'm a bit late. Sorry about that.
I'm here, but I'm also not really here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what really unfolds there. Oh.
I'm here to...
Draken. You're finally here, buddy.
Okay.
Good job. That's a good kill, actually. That's pretty significant. I've realised how sarcastic that actually sounds, but in all seriousness, that's actually a pretty critical kill. Just gonna dig myself a hole now. Unfortunately, they do almost get instantly traded, though. Buster secures a pick back. Kurt now over towards long. Might find herself in a battle against Grox, who kind of just seems to be shadow stepping into Kurt, who's just holding the headshot angle.
Yeah, this is a dicey territory right now. The next kind of few moments really going to turn the tides of this battle. Grux wants to get aggressive. He's going to go for it, and he will actually find that kill. Kurt was ready for it positionally, but I suppose just not quite in his head. Did catch him off guard, and now there's another AUG to get past here in such a tough angle, such a tough position. That's very awkward for Draken. The failed Molotov from the T side kind of kills him. It was too far back. Don't think it would have spread into him, but he thought it was on him because he was blind. Tried to throw down the smoke and then just melted. That is very, very embarrassing. But it happens to the best of us, I suppose. Scream will spot out Buster, not quite able to finish him off, and giving his position away, eventually takes him down. But Jamie knows exactly where he is, playing this contact up, an easy pickup for him. 10th round for AVANGAR, as they are looking to steamroll this T side right now. Uruguay just cannot catch a break.
That sucks. It really does.
Yeah, it's... The thing is, he's not really done anything wrong, because he hears the Molotov coming in, then he gets blinded, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to be stood in this Molotov, you know, because it's meant to land where I'm stood, but it didn't. So it was all a 200 IQ play from AVANGAR for sure. Yeah, it's a sad one, because I'm sure like people in the chat are like, Draken, what are you doing, you idiot? But it's like, that's kind of the way that he should have played it. Because he's blind. If he could see, it would have been a bit different. But because he was blind, kind of changes things slightly.
Low levels, the duel comes through. The bait and switch setup certainly pays off, as Grux will get himself an AK now for his troubles. At the behest of his teammate who did fall, but potentially a price worth paying here. Fortunately though, it looks like AVANGAR have kind of read them like a book. They've got 3 players on A, and AVANGAR are leaving the A site and basically heading towards tunnels immediately. Obviously that's going to be coming as well from the information collected by Buster. He's over by doors, just sitting and waiting. The only complication will be Grux. The man is an AK, the only weapon on this CT side of real merit, to be honest. The rest are Deagles, and I don't think we've got a bunch of mini Nikos in the server. So it is going to be on this AK to make something stick here. The peek comes through. Scream first of all. Grux doing a lot of damage, but yet to find a kill. Finally follows up with one. Couldn't quite get the second, but they are so dangerously low. Unfortunately, he walks right into the crosshair of Buster. Means he'll have to hit the deck, and Draken becomes last man standing in a 1 versus 3.
Gonna try and go for this here, though. I mean, he might as well. Opportunity to do some more damage. Kikurt gonna get caught on the edge of the smoke. But I think, hopefully, that should spell the end for Draken now that they are aware of his positioning. And just sort of gonna hide and play it safe as well. And there you go, Jamie on the AWP. Ever reliable. Looking really, really good here today, which is pretty worrying for Existence and the boys, because I mean, I don't know, there's an argument to be made, maybe he is a better AWPer than Draken. We've seen some great things out of Draken, but consistency has always been a huge issue for him. And it seems Jamie, across these 2 days, even in the series that they lost, he also looked really good there. You know, he was kind of the carrying potential that they had, just wasn't quite able to do it in the end, I guess. So yeah, I'd kind of make that bet. I'd make that call that he is a bit of a better AWPer than Draken in my eyes. Maybe not quite as high of a skill ceiling, but consistency wise, he's a lot more reliable for sure.
Keeping an eye now on just Uruguay overall, to be honest. See if they can maybe claim a second before the half comes through. Don't really want to see a 14-1 scoreline. They're pretty lopsided thus far, but hopefully we'll see a bit of improvement. Looks like AVANGAR are just going to basically blob their way up 3 long. Full commit. Utility to come through. Double CT smokes to allow them to cross. Volley towards backside as well. Hampus is just going to retreat into the smoke. Try and live to fight another day here. Going for the jumping AWP potentially. Very tough to land though. Prison already with the opener. It doesn't really bode too well here for Uruguay, if I'm honest. The team in disarray. Already on the save. It's going to be 12-1. What a devastating scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, I expected them to be able to take the game, but I didn't think it would look like this from AVANGAR, to be honest. It's a bit worrying, to say the least. I mean, it's still early days. I think we're, what, maybe like 3 or 4 days into this lineup for Uruguay, and it is, again, online, you know, and all the kind of excuses, but they should be putting up a bit of a better fight than this. You know, everybody just kind of pretty much below, at the moment anyway, you know, below 5 frags. You got Grooks looking okay, and Existence has dropped out of the server, so I'm not quite sure what his scoreline is looking like. But yeah, it's really not great at the moment from Uruguay. And like I say, this is just a bit too surprising, to be honest, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really too much to say now. You know, traditionally, this is a great opportunity for us to sort of peel back the next layer of the onion, dive a little deeper. But unfortunately, I don't think really there's much there to be discovered, to be honest. It's a pretty lopsided matchup. AVANGAR right now just doing them dirty. Scoreline that only continues to grow in that devastating fashion we so unfortunately had to describe. Now, just going to be waiting patiently for Existence to return to us so we can dive headfirst back into the rest of this matchup and conclude pretty quickly what Mat 1 seems to be potential 16-1 at this point, unless we see some sort of hope from this Uruguay lineup.
Well, maybe a bit of an extended pause to slow the momentum is something that they needed. Existence does seem to be missing quite readily here, so hopefully he will be back with us sooner rather than later. Would certainly be nice. But yeah, I like you say, there's just not a great deal to go over at the moment. It just looks very messy. They're allowing a bit too much room and control to AVANGAR, and then, you know, they'll go for a bit of early aggression, but it doesn't look like they even believe that it's going to work, you know. So they get taken down because they're not really feeling all that confident. Then someone else tries to compensate and pick up a return frag of some kind, and they also go down. So it's like a lot of the time they are a good 2 or 3 men down in like the first sort of 45 seconds of the round, and that's just not really an ideal way to play things. They've come close in some cases, but again, You know, we saw that one round with Grux where he had great control, he had the bomb, looked like it was in the bag, and then he just played a little bit too scared, a little bit too passive, is the nice way of putting it, and it ended up costing them the round, you know. So I just think confidence isn't really there for them at the moment. They're just not feeling as perhaps streamlined or as clean as they would like at the moment.
Yeah, I think, you know, the way I'm sort of looking at it is, and I think it also kind of acts as a good summary to what you said, which is ultimately AVANGAR are just able to come in and play their game. There isn't really anything being done by Uruguay to catch them by surprise, to force a change up or break their style. AVANGAR are just in the server, they're playing their CS, they know what they came here to do, and they're getting it done. It's a job being completed up to par. And that seems to be the tough thing for Uruguay to crack. And they have to try and find something, a chink in the armor of AVANGAR. Otherwise, we are going to be seeing a pretty quick best of 3, and, well, that's not what we hope for, that's for sure.
Not exactly sure where Existence has gotten off to. Apparently, according to one of our beautiful admins, his internet has gone down. So yeah, we're a bit worse for wear.
Well, I tell you what, folks. Instead of myself and Skriv rambling on, I think we've pretty much explored all of the topics. What we will do is we will head to a very short break. We will be back with you guys very, very soon. Do not go anywhere, as you can join us for the conclusion of Uruguay versus AVANGAR, map number 1.
baby, but you know I never will. No. So I choke you down just like a pill. Oh yeah. Take you like a pill.
I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. That it feels right. Feels right. So right, so right, so right. I'm just going with the gut. Never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet. Hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella love. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart, yeah. I won't stop charging, we going come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. It feels right. It feels right.
the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, heart so full, I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive, we're just listening, we're existing. We stay when the music plays, but let's drop below where the people.
Hello folks, welcome back to what may well now be the actual conclusion of this matchup. We're here of course with Uruguay versus AVANGAR. Krilly has arrived. Christian Lindberg will be the substitute for Existence. Unfortunately has lost internet. So it'll be interesting to see how that substitute player has an effect on this team as Hamper starts strong. That's a pick for the CT side. A good way to kick things off of course after what was definitely an extended break, 15-20 minutes or so. AVANGAR, that 12-1 lead, might start to disappear if Uruguay begin to feel it and wake up a bit.
Yeah, they will have definitely lost that momentum that we so often speak about. That is for sure. But I think the fact that they're so far ahead, they should be okay here. It would be a pretty monumental, not only comeback, but also change in the team of Uruguay. And there you go, Kika and Buster going to sneak in and find a couple of kills. It is being kept even. A great Molotov comes through. Draken flashbacks to that Molotov over on A. He does take a lot of damage to it, though, as he thought he could get through it cheekily. So that could definitely be a difference maker, especially with Krilly on pretty low HP. So, yeah, I think this is now a save scenario. 2 AWPs on the retake. Although at this point, 12-1 might as well give it a go because you never know what's going to happen. And that looks to be the kind of mindset they're going to go in with here. Hamperstone misses his shot and he really just doesn't fancy it. Yeah, they're going to run away and definitely save this time. Great utility usage from AVANGAR to keep them out of window and B doors. And a good little hold from Fitch as well from the back end to make sure that no flank is successful. So a 13th round for AVANGAR. And it would seem, despite the early pick, the trend continues for the T side.
Yeah, seems like the 13-1 decimation continues to unfold in front of us. Are there any breaks in this train? I'm not so sure. More AWPs now. Quad AWP. Love it. Let's see what can be done here. Not a single player on B. I wonder if they just hold W and just take site. Looks like they are just going to make the run. Actually backing away there for a second. Bitch having second thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty random read to figure out or to think that there's no one on B.
Well, they
I guess with the information that comes in with the AWPer, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That is mid does too. It's all about the information.
Yeah, it's very true actually. Just kind of immediately thought because it's generally applied, but yeah, on Dust 2 it is a little bit different because it gives you so much vision. I'm sure we've all been in matchmaking games where the guy with the AWP's like, no one B, rush B, you know? So it's kind of one of those scenarios. But not really going too well, whether they've got a read or not, whether they've got the correct stack or not. Uruguay, unfortunately, losing a great deal of players. Only Scream to have picked up one. No, what am I talking about? AVANGAR losing a great deal of players. Do apologise. My mind's just out of it at the moment.
You're just so into the AVANGAR train at this point.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just believing so hard. But yeah, it kind of applies what I was saying. No matter what kind of a read that they have, AVANGAR, yeah, not really
this is winnable.
Figuring things out.
It's actually winnable.
This is a little bit of a crazy round in general. Yeah, this is all over the place right now. As it's just been an all over the place kind of game. The bomb goes down on B and Fitch has got a pretty decent flanking position to maybe cut off some rotations. However, he's now the only one remaining. I think he might just be a bit too far away to stop this defuse coming in. It's not planted for him at all, and he ends up going down. So they will actually manage to get their second round. Better late than never, I suppose, for Uruguay, but 13-2 half is still going to be very, very difficult to come back from.
That was actually really smartly played as well. Draken stays in CT there to ensure that the mid player, or player what was short, cannot get down into mid and get to flank, knowing full well that the player can, their second and third player can retake from tunnels and outside B site respectively from mid. So it's still a 2v1 on site for them, and it's still a simple duel. We saw Grux take it and comfortably win it. So Draken playing there and just playing for his team instead of going straight to B site is it's a very small decision, but it's a really smart one, and it does help them get that second round. Nonetheless, folks, we've got a short commercial break for you before we do come right back with you for the second half of this matchup. Waiting to see now if there is going to be much life left in Uruguay, and obviously hedging our bets on the value of the pistol here, because one pistol round that's gone wrong may well end this map. Don't go there, folks. Map 2, or the conclusion to map 1 and potentially map 2 coming up very, very soon.
Loot.bet, made for live betting.
Welcome back, folks. Here we are. I can swear that little break has completely thrown us groove. Neither of us seem to be able to speak or string sentences together that really make much sense, but hopefully we'll be able to get back into our groove, and also hopefully we can coax a bit of life out of Uruguay. They got themselves a second, now it's time for a cheeky third. Let's see what they're made of in this second pistol round.
Well, they're going to go for a lot of long aggression early on. Try and make that work, which can always be difficult because those USPs at range. It is one of the longest sort of battlefields, as it were, in the entire game. So a little bit tough for the Glocks to close the gap, I suppose. But they are allowing it to happen on the CT side of things, taking a pretty heavy retake setup here, and they lose one man a second as well, quick to follow. A third coming in towards middle, so a very, very dominant pistol so far. It's left all onto Jamie and Fitch to try and pick up the pieces here, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Jamie, I mean, I would say he could go away and save, but he's taken 1 point of damage to his armor there, so he might as well give this a go and maybe try and find a few kills. But AVANGAR looking to buy themselves a little bit of a lifeline going into the second half, and yeah, they're not going to be down and out just yet. They do have a little bit more gas in the tank, so to speak.
Jamie at least going to get a couple more shots on the way out, but there you have it. Will be executed in 13-3. Takes hold. Have to relive a couple of moments here, of course. A couple of nice shots really across the board, has to be said, but overall it's nice to see that there is more life in the T side. Also, what's important to note as well is we aren't going to be seeing any response or anything too wild from AVANGAR. They're just going to take the 5 USPs, except that this will probably be B13-4, and look forward to their first buy before they try and close as well.
Yeah, I do appreciate this. It's kind of respectful from them. It was something that against Windstrike yesterday, this was a scenario where they wouldn't have ecoed it out. They would have like force bought and just, been like, it should be easy, we're going to take it, yeah. And then they ended up losing very, very slim margin that they lost by on the 2 maps. They did end up losing for the 2-1, victory to Windstrike. So it's nice to see that here today, despite being so far ahead, despite it only being the first map or whatever, they are they are playing things relatively chillaxed. There's the Zeus kill. We do get one in this series, as it's been a staple of most AVANGAR games. They do seem to be pretty prolific with those Zeuses. I'm not sure if that's the plural of Zeus, but, we'll roll with it. And again, it comes as a surprise to everyone. But importantly here, James, and a knife kill, what's going on? I was going to say James gets a kill, he gets an AK, but Buster did the same thing. But with a knife. I don't know, mate. It's a 4th round for Uruguay, but I think if it continues like that, it's not looking good.
Well, it's very early days. We'll have to see really what the buy is made of now for AVANGAR. Already a bit of utility dumped in towards tunnels there. The flash nade combo to push them back as Hampus gets exceptionally aggressive. I mean, that is his team are nowhere near ready to support him. The smokes has not come down or really anything at all. There's just no real benefit from him wide swinging short, and gives up a simple free pick to AVANGAR within a matter of seconds.
Yeah, not really ideal. Not the best start that they would be looking for either. Now, once again, on the back foot, looking to recover things back. Keycurt going to spot a few out there in towards middle as they are looking to go up the B ramp. The bomb kind of leading the way. They've got this mid control, but again, I think just waiting patiently at the moment to see if anyone's going to get aggressive, but it's not really coming. There's 3 players already on B, preemptively stacked up here, so it's not going to be the best of times. Fitch managing to find the first, looking through the B doors onto Scream, as it will, of course, now be a 1-man advantage, just a slim one, but it's still, you know, trade coming in. Again, with those 3 players on B, there is a little bit of liberty to get a bit more aggressive, but a nice find from Draken onto Jamie makes things look a little bit more doable. A key kill for Krisen to find, and there will be the round as Krilla just kind of slotted in, not really sure what is going on. So the first rifle round of the second half goes the way of AVANGAR, and that's probably going to spell the end. I mean, with a lot of players going down in round number 17 for Uruguay, it means that their money is not brilliant despite winning, you know, those the pistol, the accumulator, and being on the T side. It's really not ideal. So they lose this one, it's going to be map point, and then there's 11 rounds for AVANGAR to secure it. So I'm pretty confident they're going to take this to the second map quite early on, quite quickly here.
Yeah, seems to be the case. Kills coming in left, right, and center, and well, now we're already in a 5v2, right? Confidence, I think, raining pretty high. AVANGAR looking to shut down Map 1 and get us over onto called Cash. I feel like this happens way too often this week. This is the second time now that my fire alarm has gone off in the middle of a cast.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to make the excuses, but I'm glad you kind of chimed in as well. Yeah. So I suppose it's just going to be me for a little bit, guys. It's going to be interesting.
I don't know what, like, I actually don't know what's going on. This is the second time this week.
Do you have to, like, go gather somewhere? Or...
No, well, we're supposed to, but, like, we also have, the way the building's built, you're supposed to actually stay, depending on the alarm you hear, you're supposed to either stay in your room, or, like, all the apartments are built with, like, all, like, fireproof doors and stuff. So if the apartment next door to me burns up in a ball of fire, I'm actually okay. Oh, and here we go again. Round 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like it had gone off, but now it's back.
Maybe someone's trying to test it. Maybe that might be the case because it's happening during the day.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe they just didn't inform me there was a test or something. I don't know. If they could stop turning the fire alarm on, that'd be great. But yeah, you know.
Are you in like a big apartment complex, or is it just kind of a?
There's only 9 of us, but apparently like we have like.
Okay.
Oh, it's going off again. What's happening here, boys?
Right, I'll finish up on the CS, and then we'll tackle this during the break. Hopefully,
I think it's gone.
All right.
Touch wood.
Well, meanwhile, we're into a 2 versus 2 here in what could be the final round, but Scream is keeping things in favor of Uruguay only just. There's a recovered AWP from Grux now as he picked up a couple nice kills on the scout. Buster coming in with a quick flank from behind, but not ready for Grux to be holding it. It will be the 5th round for Uruguay. They buy themselves a little bit more time at this point because that's all that it is about. There is still going to be a pretty decent buy from AVANGAR coming through. But if they win this one, I mean, Uruguay do have a chance to, you know, take it to 7, 8 rounds. Still not in a winnable, well, an overtimeable scenario, but it would look a little bit better than a 16 to 4, which is what it could have been. But yeah, at this point, just kind of fighting, getting a few consolation rounds, getting a bit of momentum and confidence going into cash, I think, at this point. So we'll see here. Is the fire alarm all sorted, or are we still...
The best part is, it stopped when I said it stopped, and then just as you started talking, it started going off again.
Well...
I don't understand what's going on today. Like...
They're just not happy, you know?
I mean...
Yeah,
it's going off again.
Apparently. Sick one.
Maybe I should actually
Well-
go and deal with that. I feel like a problem. Oh, it
Yeah,
stopped again. There you go,
yeah,
it stopped.
maybe. The thing is, you're like doing the stream, so it's like when it goes to break, you need to put that tunage on.
Yeah, like it's kind of between a rock and a hard place here. But I don't
Yeah,
smell any
a
fire.
little bit.
And that makes me feel reassured that I'm not gonna burn down.
That's a good sign. Yeah, that is a good sign.
So it's always good. If the stream goes offline, then well, we all know what's happened. Rest in peace. Computer is gone. I've burnt up in a blaze of hellfire. Accurately sums up the result on Dust 2.
So far, yeah. It's still kind of in these last few rounds, you know, where teams maybe get a little bit complacent. It is being kept in contention as the fire alarm is back. The good thing is, it's not like deafeningly loud, but it's obviously a little bit tedious to listen to. Either way, 1 versus 1 here. We'll see. Is this going to be it? Oh, looking the wrong way. Scream gets taken down. Not ready for 2 players to be coming in from tunnels, so stagnated from one another. And that will be all she wrote for this first map. 16-5 in favour of AVANGAR. Very dominant showing. Took them a little bit of time towards the end, but ultimately they take their map pick very, very decisively indeed. Yeah, and there's not really all that much to break down. I think I'm not sure what's going on with the fire alarm scenario, but I'm just going to take the initiative and say that we will be going to that second map in just a few moments. Going to be Cash, another pug-heavy map, so certainly will be interesting to see. But you guys can take a look at the standings and see what this kind of means for everything. Uruguay towards the middle would like to take this. They have a lot of games in hand as well, so they could quite easily jump ahead of teams like Havu and XCOM. So it would have been nice to pick up that first map, but unfortunately not able to do so. Like I say, though, folks, we will be going to a quick little break. Hopefully everything will be sorted fire alarm-wise, but thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Loot.bet. Made for live betting.